Very good morning, dear students. In the previous classes, we were discussing about the branch account, correct? So, what is branch account? What are the journal entries to be passed for opening a branch account? And we have solved problems, correct? One of the problem we have worked out for this advanced financial accounting class. Okay. In that branch account, I have given one problem for you also to solve it, correct? Have you did it? Anyone have tried? Okay. So, we'll see that later. Let us continue today with some other adjustment in the branch account. After and also with one more problem we'll work out for relating to the branch account. Very good. Many of you have tried it. Yes, 32,500 is an answer. Okay. Anyone got an answer? No sound? Maybe problem from your side. Everyone are responding. Asha, check it from your side. Okay. So now today, in the previous class we have discussed the problem of opening a branch account, that is preparing a branch account when there is a cost price, correct? When the goods are recorded or accounted at the cost price. So under the cost price method, how to prepare a branch account, we have done a problem based on this. And in case, suppose if the goods are recorded or accounted for invoice price, if the goods are accounted for invoice price, then how to open a branch account and what are the adjustments we have to do the branch account. So let us work out that, let us look into that. And after completion, after working out one problem relating to the branch account, we'll quickly move on to the next chapter, next unit, that is departmental account, and we'll do some problems relating to the departmental accounting. Okay. So now, when the goods are recorded at the invoice price, we have to pass some more journal entries. Already we know how to prepare a branch account in the books of head office for opening branch assets and for opening branch liability, what entry is to be passed. For goods, when the goods are sent from head office to the branch, what entry is to be passed. Then when the expenses are met by the head office or the cash is remitted by the head office to the branch, what entry is to be passed. When the cash is remitted by branch to head office, what entry is to be passed. And for the closing balance and also for the profit, what are all the entries to be passed. And also based on that, how to prepare a branch account in the books of head office we have done. But now let us look into now that when there is goods are recorded at the invoice price, we have to consider invoice price, because see, look at here, why we have to take into the accounting method of cost and invoice, because there is no sale here from the head office to branch, only there is a transfer of goods from head office to branch. The goods are transferred from one unit of, that is from one unit of or head office of the same organization to the sub unit of the same organization. There is no sale at all, but still sometimes the goods are recorded or accounted for an invoice price. Invoice price means what? As I said in the previous class itself, invoice in the sense it is cost plus profit, or we can say this as loading. We can say this as what? Loading. Correct. So when the account, when the goods are recorded at cost price, there is nothing to worry. We can do as usual. What are all the entries are there, that should be passed and to open a branch account. But when there is a profit, when the profit is also added, who has to pay the profit? That now from one branch to another branch, if there is a inter-branch transfer or the interdepartmental transfer, when there is a when the goods are recorded at loading, that is at a profit, then this profit must be deducted from the cost of goods. Understood? If suppose the goods are accounted for 100 rupees and the cost of this is 75, what is the amount of 25? Profit, it is 25. Amount of profit is how much? Amount of profit is 25. So this invoice value, if the goods are sent to the branch at invoice price of 100, at the invoice price of 100, then we have to take into consideration of 75 rupees. We have to take into consideration of 75 rupees by deducting 25 from 100. How to deduct 25 from 100 then? So for that we have to pass a journal entry. Suppose look at here, this is a branch account. The goods are sent from the branch to the head office. For what entry we pass for that? Branch account data to goods sent to branch account. So this entry we pass, and what amount we have to mention? When the goods are sent to branch at the rate of 100 rupees, we have to account for 100 rupees only. But separate adjustment we have to do that. For that, the reverse entry will be passed. What reverse entry will be passed? For that, we account this 25 rupees by crediting it. Crediting as what? We show this as by stock reserve. We show this as what? Stock reserve. That means stock reserve account data to branch account. So now, what is the net adjustment of branch goods sent to branch account? The net adjustment is 75 rupees only. Means we are deducting this loading amount or the profit amount of 25 rupees from the goods sent to branch account when it is accounted for invoice price. Understood? So there are 3 entries, extra entries to be passed with respect to the stock or goods. What are that? The first entry to be passed for that is for opening stock. For what? For opening stock. What entry we pass for opening stock? For opening assets. When there is opening branch assets, opening branch assets which includes branch data, branch stock, branch cash, petty cash, etc. Correct? Branch furniture, etc. Whatever it is there, that will be recorded here. So, if you open a branch account, we show this as branch account data to opening assets. To opening assets, or to, we can say branch opening to branch assets we say. So, branch assets in the sense, if there is a branch stock, we show this as to branch stock account, to branch debtors account, to branch cash account, to branch furniture account. Like this we record it. Correct. So when we are accounting this branch, goods or the assets which includes stock. Stock means what? Stock is nothing but goods. Correct. So when the goods are sent by the branch or the stocks are sent by the branch to the by the head office to the branch at invoice price, even this stock whatever is recorded is also at the invoice price only. For that, what we have to do for the first entry is for passing for making an adjustment for the excess price of loading. So for adjusting, or you can say for making an adjustment, for the excess price or for loading, in opening branch stock. Opening branch stock. So here, for making an adjustment for loading in opening stock at the branch, what entry is to be passed? The entry for this is, as I said, the reverse entry. That is, when we are recording this as branch account data to branch stock account, reverse entry we have to pass. That is, branch stock account. Sorry, not branch stock. We don't show the same name. It is stock reserve. Stock reserve account. So we open separate account called stock reserve and we credit this profit or loading amount to there. Stock reserve account debtor to branch account. If there is 100 rupees of stock and 25 rupees of stock reserve, and it is as good as accounted for 75 rupees. Understood? And the next second entry, for making an adjustment of loading, making an adjustment of loading in closing stock at branch. Closing stock at branch. One moment. Okay. For this, what entry we have to pass? The reverse entry. That is, if there is a closing stock, we record this closing stock as by branch stock account. Correct? This is the closing stock. So for this, for recording the loading of this closing stock, what we have to do? We have to make this stock loading amount to be debited to the branch account. So what entry for this? Branch account debtor debit to stock reserve account. Stock reserve account. So this entry we have to pass for opening stock as well as for the closing stock. And one more entry we have to pass for when there is a loading is involved in the goods sent to branch account. For that also we have to record it. So let us adjustment of loading in goods sent to branch. For adjustment of loading in goods sent to branch, less return. So whatever the goods are remitted to the branch account, what we do? Goods into branch, we will deduct that return to the head office from the goods into branch account, correct? So that the minus amount goods into branch account less return, whatever the goods which are returned to the head office, that must be deducted here. After deducting the goods into branch account, then we have to record this as record this at the cost price. Okay. So now for adjustment of loading in goods into branch less which is written to the head office, for which the journal entry for this is goods sent to branch account debit to branch account. Goods sent to branch account debit to branch account. These extra 3 entries are to be passed when the goods are recorded at invoice price. Everyone got it? We'll work out one problem based on this. I will share the problem to you. It has been already sent through Telegram. You might have seen. I have sent two files to you. One is about the question paper, that is first whatever I sent, that is about the next problem. Recently I sent one file relating to the branch problem. Just look into that. Do you have, everyone have? See, whoever is not there in the Telegram group, kindly inform your your friends to join. This is, I'm just passing the Telegram group link to you. This is January cycle link and as well as the July cycle link I'm passing. You just inform, even it is there in the description of your Telegram, you can pass to anyone. Okay, so in the Telegram group I have shared, even I am showing the same problem here. Just open and keep the branch accounting problem with you. See, look at here, I'll just analyze the problem. This is the same problem which had been given for an assignment, correct? A head office in Chennai, but there is some adjustment for this. That was given at the cost price, but this is at the invoice price. Look into the problem. A head office in Chennai has a branch in Delhi to which goods are invoiced by the head office at cost plus 25%. What is this 25%? 25% is 25% is a profit. Okay. Next, all cash received by the branch is daily remitted to head office. Are you understanding? Whatever the cash received by the branch has been remitting to the head office on daily basis. From the following particulars show how the branch account will appear in the head office books. Entries are to be made at invoice price. That's specifically saying to prepare branch account in the books of head office, and this entries are to be made at invoice price. Okay. Next, let us look into the information, whatever is given, additional information. The first one is stock on 1st January 2022 at invoice price. Look at here, the stock, whatever the stock which is given is an opening stock, and this opening stock is at invoice price. So what we have to do, we have to make an adjustment of stock reserve for the opening stock. That is, stock reserve will be credited, correct, will be credited to the branch account. Next, debtors. Debtors on 1/1/2022. This is a branch debtors and the opening debtors, opening assets. So this 60,000 will be recorded in the branch account as usual. Next, goods supplied by the head office at invoice price. Look at here, goods supplied by the head office. Sometimes they may give it or not. You have to record it, because they are saying all entries are to be made at invoice price. When they are specifically mentioning that it is at the invoice price, whether they are giving in the adjustment as invoice price or not, you have to record that in as invoice price only by passing these 3 extra entries. Okay. Next, the goods supplied by head office is 2 lakh rupees. Next, cash sales 80 lakhs. Cash received from customers 1,47,500. See, look at here, cash sales and cash received from customers are there. So whatever the cash received by the branch, they said here, they are saying that all cash received by branch is daily remitted to the head office. In the sense, whatever the amount of cash received by the branch, which should be remitted to the head office. What entry we pass for that? So by cash sales. In the branch account, we show that in the credit side, that is by cash sales and by cash received from the customers. Next entry is goods returned to the head office at invoice price. Look at here, goods supplied by the head office was 2 lakh rupees, but goods returned to the head office is at 12,000. So this 2 lakh and the 12,000 must be adjusted, because this goods return will be deducted with the goods supplied and the balance amount will be taken as it is. Next, check received from the head office, that is wages and salaries, rent rates and taxes, sundry expenses. All these are the check received from the head office for meeting these expenditures. So that will be recorded as to cash account, because the amount of to bank account, check is received from the head office for meeting these expenditures. Next, stock on 31st December 2022 at invoice price. Whether they have given this at invoice price or not, we have to record at invoice price only, because this mentioned in the beginning itself all entries to be passed at invoice price. And also they said that the goods are sent by the head office. Look at here, the first entry, the goods. A head office in Delhi, Chennai has a branch in Delhi to which goods are invoiced by the head office at cost plus 25%. So when the goods are invoiced at cost plus 25%, then we have to record all the stock and the goods information at this invoice price only. This is 75,000. Debtors on 31st December 2022 is 1,12,500. Debtors on 31st December 2022 is 1,12,500. Next, liability for the petty expenses, it is 550. This debtor is a closing debtors, and the liability, they are saying that this is a liability and it is a closing liability. So these are the 3 closing information. So for passing the closing assets, the journal entry for this is branch account debtor to branch assets account for closing assets. Correct. So when there is a liability, for passing the entries of the liability, okay, for passing the entry for the liability, for closing liability, what we have to how do we have to record? So this we have to record it as by branch liabilities, means branch liabilities account data to branch account. This entry we pass for this liabilities for petty expenses. So now this has to be recorded at the invoice price. Got my point? So let us do this problem. Now look into the board. We'll work out and we'll solve this problem. Is it clear? Because it is not visible, I shared it in Telegram group. Just look into the Telegram app. Are you all not there in the Telegram app? If not, I sent a message for this. For January cycle and the July cycle, there is a separate group created. Kindly join only to the respective group, because you may get misleaded or confused, because whatever the July cycle information will be passed into the July cycle group, and January cycle information will be passed into the January cycle. What you people are doing, you may be there in two groups and you are confusing between July and January cycle, and you are even misleading with your peer groups. So this is the problem what is happening, I am seeing. So kindly join only to the concerned group. Whatever the information it is required will be passed into all the groups. No need to have to be joined for all the groups. Okay, if you are there in many of you are there in even second semester also, I know it. So kindly exit from that group so that you may not get confused. Okay. If anyone have not joined, you join now. I am sending the link, correct? So you just join the link and look into the problems whatever I have been shared. Right, we will move on to the problem. Okay, dear students. So for this problem, we have to prepare branch account in the books of head office. Let us write this as in the books of Chennai head office. In the books of Chennai head office, and which branch account it is? Branch account is Delhi branch, correct? Look into the problem. You know the format of opening branch account. Particulars, amount in rupees, particulars, amount in rupees. We'll pass the entries one by one. First one, for opening stock, that is stock on January 1st, 2022 at invoice price is given. So it is 2 opening stock. I'm sorry, not opening stock. Let us write this as branch stock. 2 branch stock. What is the amount of branch stock? It is at the invoice price 62,500. Take all the opening assets. Opening branch assets. 2 debtors, that is branch debtors. They are not the general debtors. They which branch account? Delhi branch, correct? We have to mention even that. Delhi branch account. 2 branch debtors. What is the amount? 60,000. Next, 2 goods supplied by the head office. See, only 2 are there. These 2 are the assets. Opening branch assets. Correct. So next, they have given that goods supplied by head office at invoice price, that is 2 lakh rupees. So this goods supplied by the head office, what entry we pass for this? Branch account data to goods sent to branch account. Correct. Goods sent to branch account. What is the amount of goods sent to branch account? It is 2 lakh. Goods sent to branch account is 2 lakh. But dear students, there is one adjustment for this. We have seen where goods are returned to the head office. Correct. By the branch, some of the goods are being returned to the head office. What is the amount of goods returned to the head office? It is 12,000. So what we have to do that? We have to make an adjustment for this. Less returns to head office. We can do this adjustment here only. Returns to head office. So returns to head office is how much? It is 12,000. Now take the balance. 2 lakh minus 12,000 is how much? 1,88,000, correct? 1,88,000. See, I have sent the problem. Somebody is saying whether you have sent the problem in January cycle. I have sent the problem for both January and July cycle. Here there are July as well as January cycle students. This is a combined class for both July and January cycle. It has been, the problems have been shared in both the Telegram group of July and January cycle of first semester. Okay. I had informed you in the previous class itself. The first block of the link will be sent later. Okay. Only after the completion of online classes I am going to share that link, because I said in the beginning you may get confused and you may be thinking about that. You may be get confused about the classes if I share that Telegram group link. Class link. Now further we'll continue. I think it is visible clearly. It is visible clearly to you, right? Okay. So goods sent to branch account is 2 lakh rupees. If you deduct the return to the head office 12,000, the balance of 1,88,000 is the goods sent to branch account. Actual amount of goods received by the head office. Let us say the next entry, that is cash sales. Correct. So what entry we have to pass for the cash sales? Do we have to record here under the debit side of the branch account? No. Why? Because when there is a receipt of cash or goods or check or whatever, it must be debited. When there is a remittance, we have to credit it. So we have to credit it as what? By cash account. So what does it include? Cash account? One is cash sales. What is the amount of cash sales? Cash sales, it is 80,000. And next is cash received from customers. Cash received from customers. This is 1,47,500. Can anyone take the total and tell me? 2,27,500. Is it correct? 2,27,500. Is it correct? 1,88,000. 2,27,500. Correct. Okay. So we'll move to the next item, whatever is given. Next item is check received from the head office. See, check received from the head office means branch is receiving the amount of check for meeting the various expenditures which is sent by the head office. Correct. So what entry we have to pass for that is check to bank account, for what? So this check has been sent to the bank for meeting some expenditure. What expenditure? That is wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. What is the amount of wages and salaries? 55,000. 55,000. Then rent, rates and taxes. Rent, rates and taxes. What is the amount of rent, rates and taxes? 15,000. Then sundry expenses. Sundry expenses. The amount of sundry expenses is 2,550 and the total is also given there, that is 72,550. 72,550. Clear? Next. Further, they have given the closing stock, closing debtors and closing liabilities. But before going for making an entry for the closing asset, let us make an adjustment of profit, that is goods sent to head office at the profit. Let us make that as an adjustment here. For first one is for the opening stock, that is to branch stock account, 62,500 is given. The students, look at here. Whatever the goods sent by the branch, listen carefully, stop writing if you are writing and listen carefully. If you are, suppose if the goods are sent by the head office to the branch at cost plus 25% means what? Cost is 100 plus 25 rupees of profit means invoice price is how much? 125. This is a cost. This is profit or loading we can say, and this is invoice price. What is the invoice price? 125 rupees, because they said clearly that cost is 100, profit is 25. Goods are sent at 25% of the profit. 25% on what? 25% on cost. Means cost is how much? Cost is 100. Correct? So now we have to take this into account, where whatever the goods are sent by the head office to the branch, it is at 125%. It is at how much? 125%. So in order to convert this into 100%, we have to deduct this 25% of profit. So how to deduct 25% of profit? What entry we have to pass for branch stock account? So for branch stock account, we have to record like by stock reserve account. By stock reserve account. And for this stock reserve account, the adjustment for this, by stock reserve account, the adjustment for this is whatever the amount of branch stock, and this branch stock is at what percentage? At invoice price. Invoice price means it is at 125%. But how much do we need now? Only we have to account it for 25%. If it is deduct only the loading amount, then it leads to 62,500, 125%. Then right side 25%. and the balance of 100 rupees we are going to account it. Understood? So we need 25 out of 125. The invoice price. So we can do like this. 62,500 is for 125%. Then 25% of profit. For 25% of profit, what is the amount? So for this, if you take this as x value, so just cross multiply it, x into 125, this is a mathematical way of solving the problem. 62,500 into 25, we need the x value, that is the amount of profit. For that, keep x in the left hand side and take 125 to the right hand side, that is 62,500 into 25 divided by 125. The same formula we have used. Means 65,200 rupees is for how much? It is for 125%. We need for 25%. Understood? 62,500 into 25 divided by 125. How much? 50,000. Yes. Anyone is having still doubt or clear? 12,500 is the profit. Correct. 50,000 is a cost and 12,500 is a profit. We need what? 62,500 is for 125% means what is the profit? Profit is how much? 12,500 as you only calculated and set. Next, for which one we have to again adjust? For goods sent to branch account. Correct. For adjusting the goods sent to branch account minus returns. That is less return to the head office. So what entry we have to pass? Pass for this. For that, we record it as goods sent to branch account to the branch account. Correct. So adjusted by goods sent to branch account. In bracket you can write it as loading less returns. Close the bracket and write it as less returns. What is the amount of goods sent to branch less returns? 1,88,000. Take this 1,88,000. 1,88,000. And this 1,88,000 is again for 125%. Then how much for 25? Can you calculate and tell me? How much it is? How much? 37,600 is it? 37,600. Is it correct? Yes. Okay. 37,600. Then we have one more adjustment we have to be made. It is given in the problem. That is, in the problem they have given closing branch assets. Correct? You just adjust that closing branch assets. How to adjust? So that closing branch assets must be credited. Correct? By branch stock account. What is the closing stock of branch? I'll just open the problem. Okay, closing stock of branch at invoice price is 75,000. Then closing debtors, that is by branch debtors. In bracket you can write the description so that you can understand easily. By branch stock. Why it is by branch stock? Because it is a closing entry. That is recording of closing stock. Closing asset. By branch debtors. By branch debtors account. The amount of this is 1,12,500. 1,12,500. And there is one last adjustment, that is liability for petty expenses. See, look at here, these two are the assets for adjusting or for recording the closing credit this assets. If there is a liability, that must be debited, correct? So 2, you can write this as 2 or you can make it as ditto. So 2, liability for petty expenses. Liability for petty expenses. What is the amount of liability for petty expenses? That is the closing liability 550. Is it everything is clear? Shall I close the account? Can anyone tell me everything is over? Or do we have to do any other adjustment, or shall I close the account? I'm waiting for your reply fast. Is there any other entry to be passed? Yes means what? Whether we have to pass or whether we have to close. Shall I close the account? See, this is the problem which has been closing stock adjustment. Very good. Who's this? Aisha. See, Aisha said, very good. We have to record the loading amount which is included in the branch stock. Yes, even ma'am, in the previous problem we made entry for petty expenses in credit side. Look at here, this is petty expenses, correct, but it is not the expenses made by the branch, or this is not the petty expenses. Petty expenses of like a petty cash for closing account. They are specifically mentioned in the problem. If not mentioned, we would have recorded this petty expenses as a credit side only, as an asset. But here they mentioned it as liability. Are you understanding my point? Here they are specifying it as liability. Since they are saying it as liability, we cannot take that as an asset and to credit it. Since they are mentioning it as a liability for the petty expenses, liability may be these petty liability comes because it may be outstanding. So there is a petty expenses they have to meet, but still they have not paid the petty expenses, so it has become outstanding. So when it has become an outstanding, it becomes a liability, correct? Understood my point? So this liability, that is petty expenses which is outstanding, which is not yet being paid, has become a liability. For closing this, we have recorded like this. Means debited. Understood? So now let us adjust this loading which is included in the branch stock. What entry we have to pass that for that? To stock reserve. To stock reserve. What is the amount of branch stock? Branch stock is 75,000, and this 75,000 is for 125%. Then we have to convert this for 25%. Now tell me what is the amount? 75,000 into 25 divided by 125. Fast. After making an adjustment of this, close the account, take the total of credit side and check which side is more. 15,000. Okay. 15,000 is the stock reserve account. It is relating to the loading. Now tell me, take the total of credit side and debit side, and which side is more. Take the total and tell me fast. I will get the calculator. Okay, 4,65,100 is debit side and 3,98,600 is the credit side. Okay, so we'll take that as 4 lakh. How much? 4,65,100 is more. So credit side is more. 4,65,100. 4,65,100. And the balance is how much? There is no space. I will write it small. This is visible, correct? 4,65,100. And the difference amount is 66,500. This 66,500 will be transferred to the general profit and loss account. It is transferred to the general profit and loss account. Understood everyone? The same problem which had been given for an assignment. Excluding the item which I had written in black, that is relating to only the loading. One is stock reserve, other one is goods sent to branch, next is again the stock reserve for the closing asset. So if you exclude these three, whatever the balance, the profit you get, you can record that because it was given at a cost price. Understood? Everyone got? Okay, I will give one more problem for you for an assignment so that you work out from your side. Even that problem is also shared with you. Okay, so last problem, last answer may be 4,65,100 minus 12,500 minus 37,600, 4,15,000 minus 62,500 minus 60,000 minus 1,88,000 minus 72,550 minus 550. So answer for last one is 31,400. I hope you have got all the same answer. We just did it only 12,000. Ignore only 12,500, 37,600 on the credit side, and 15,000 on the debit side. Then take the balance. You will get to know the profit for the previous one, the previous problem which I had given from assignment. Okay, so now look at this problem. This is for an assignment. If you solve this so that we can quickly move to the next next unit. 31,400 is an answer. Very good. Okay, look at this problem. Modi Traders opened a branch at Chennai on 1st July 2022. Goods are sent from the head office at cost plus 25%. In the same manner, they have given cost plus 25%. The branch is advised to deposit cash every day in bank in head office account. From the following particulars, prepare branch account in the books of head office. So where is branch? Branch is in Chennai. So we have to prepare Chennai branch account for the year ending 31st December 2022. Petty cash at the branch is maintained on impressed system. So it is one and the same. Impressed is also a form of maintaining a petty cash system. Completely every amount, the cash account which whatever the small business organization which for meeting the day-to-day expenses, for the routine expenses, they open this as in place of petty cash. They say this as impressed. Okay, impressed account of cash or impressed cash system. They say it is also a form of cash account. Next, let us look into the additional information. First one is cash sent to branch for meeting petty expenses. Cash sent to branch for meeting petty expenses. It is 400. Is it not visible? Hemant, maybe problem from your side. Check it. Okay. First item is cash sent to branch for meeting petty expenses, that is 440 rupees. So the cash amount sent by the head office to branch to meet the petty expenses is a cash, correct? So cash means how do we record it? So we have to record it as to cash account in branch account, right? Next, furniture purchased for the branch. See, assets are purchased by the branch. So this, whatever the assets are purchased by the branch of 8,000 rupees, which also have to be recorded. Next, goods sent to branch at invoice. Whatever the amount of goods sent to branch at invoice price. So the goods sent by the branch at the invoice price should be accounted. Next, expenses paid by head office. Expenses paid by the head office for meeting rent, advertisement, then for rent it is 1200, advertisement 800. Next, salaries 400, and insurance for annual it is up to, insurance always have to be paid on annual basis up to 36/2023, that is 300 rupees of insurance they have made. So these are the information it is there in the left side. It is not that credit side and the debit side, only the particulars in two columns they have given. Okay, here as I said, cash sent to branch account for meeting petty expenses, we have to record this as to cash account because this is a petty expenses, cash sent by the branch to the petty expenses. Next, furniture purchased for the branch. So for if the furnitures have been purchased for the branch, it is which have to be recorded as to branch account because it is a assets. For branch assets, it should be recorded as to branch furniture account. Amount of 8,000. Goods sent to branch at invoice price. First we record this amount. If there is any goods returned by the branch to the head office, that will be deducted, and the remaining amount will be recorded in the outer column. Whereas since it is at the invoice price, we have to take this invoice amount of 25% as a credit side as loading, that is goods sent to branch account only. Next, expenses by the branch, by the head office. Expenses by the head office means expenses are met by the head office directly. This amount of rent, advertisement and salaries are to be recorded, and these three amounts have to be recorded as to cash account, okay, or bank account. Since there no information is given, we can take it as either cash or the bank, okay. Next item is insurance. For an insurance, even it is also to be taken under insurance, they have paid 300 rupees. 300 rupees for an insurance. In debit side, you can take this 300 rupees of insurance, 300 rupees of insurance as to bank account. But there is one adjustment for this. What adjustment we have to make? Insurance up to which I mean which month it is been paid, up to June 2023 is paid, but for which period we are recording this branch account. So they have given the information, all the information whatever is given, it is starts from 1st January, correct? No, 1st July 2022 to 31st December 2022. From 1st July to 31st December, in a sense, branch was opened only on 1st July. Means the financial year for this is 1st January to 31st December. Correct? They are closing it on 31st December, means the financial year is from 1st January to 31st December. But since this amount of insurance is paid till next year of June, this amount, that for how many months they have paid in advance? For 6 months, correct? 300 rupees have been paid in advance for 6 months. That 6 months whatever is been paid in advance is considered as prepaid insurance. That prepaid insurance becomes an asset, and it will be recorded as a closing asset on the credit side. I will repeat it again. Just look at, see the amount of insurance. Till here you are just, you understood other than insurance, correct? This amount of insurance of 300 rupees, it is been paid till 30th June 2023. But whatever the amount of insurance paid till June 2023 is not to be taken into consideration as expenditure for this year, the entire this year. No, not at all. The expenditure for this year must be starts from 1st July or 1st January till 31st December. Since the branch is opening only from 1st July, so we have to show only from 1st July to 31st December. But with this, insurance has been paid till 30th June of next year. In the sense, we have to yes, this annual amount of 300 rupees for this 6 months whatever they have been paid. 6 months means 300 into 6 to be divided by 12. 150 rupees is the current year expenditure, and remaining 150 rupees is a prepaid insurance, is an asset. In advance they have paid. When they have paid in advance, it becomes an asset. Understood? That 150 will be shown as by prepaid insurance for recording the closing assets. Understood? Anyone has a doubt for this insurance? If not, I'll continue further. Next, let us look into the next item, that is cash sales by the branch. Cash sales by the branch is 61,500. Next, credit sales during 6 months, it is 26,000. This cash sales by the branch must be credited to the branch, because they said whatever the branch is advised to deposit whatever the amount of cash received every day in the bank in head office account, to the head office account. So this cash sales must be credited to the head office account, that is by cash, correct? Next, credit sales. Where do we have have to take this credit sales. See, credit sales, nowhere we take this in a branch account. Instead, we open a debtors account and we take it there, we account it there. But this credit sales during 6 months of 26,000 will be taken in the branch debtors account. Next, cash received from debtors. Cash received from debtors which should be accounted. Which should be accounted means what? Whatever the cash received from the head of, by the branch must be credited to the head office, amount of 20,000. Next, discount allowed to debtors. Discount allowed to debtors is also to be recorded in the debtors account. And if you open a debtor account, I will show you how to open a debtor account and adjust it. But this is not relating to the branch account. Next, but this adjustment is necessary because we have to make an we have to make some adjustment. There is some adjustment for this. Next, goods returned by debtors. It is at invoice price. How much it is? 600 rupees of goods returned by debtors. Next, bad debts written off. Bad debts written off. Bad debts written off of 50,000. This bad debts written off 50,000 is also not to be accounted in the branch account. Instead, this information is required for preparing the debtors account. Next, petty expenses paid by branch. See, these are the petty expenses paid by the branch. This is not a closing amount, but this is a expenses paid by the branch means to cash account. It has been paid. So, to cash account, branch account data to cash account, this should be recorded like this, 650 rupees. Next is stock at cost on 31st December excluding stock received from debtors. See, look at here, stock at cost. Stock at cost is how much? That on 31st December okay, look at here, sorry, I had okay, while explaining this goods returned by debtors, I had confused with this. Goods returned by debtors, it is not that goods returned by branch to the head office. So, goods returned by debtors should be at invoice price, and this should be accounted in the credit side of the debtors account. Why? Because this goods, whatever there is a credit sales of 26,000, out of which 600 rupees of goods are been returned by the debtors, and this 600 rupees must be shown in the stock because it shows that stock excludes the amount of stock received from the debtors. So, this 26,000 rupees of closing branch stocks is excluded, so we have to add this 600 and show it in the branch stock account. Next, provide depreciation on furniture. Provide depreciation on furniture at 10%. So, depreciation on furniture at 10%, we have to, there is a furniture item, right? So, we have to charge depreciation at the rate of 20% per annum on furniture. And this depreciation, where do we have to account? So, the amount of depreciation, whatever is being calculated, will be adjusted in the closing furniture. While recording the closing furniture, we have to make an adjustment. What was the opening furniture? Goods, furniture purchased during the year was 8,000, and while showing the closing furniture, we have to take this 8,000 minus depreciation of 10%. 10% depreciation of 8,000 is 800 rupees, correct? But you need to consider this for 1 year, is it? Is it? Do we have to consider that is depreciation for 1 year? No, right? Why? Because this amount of furniture is purchased by the branch. Purchased by the branch. When the branch was opened on July 1st, correct? When this branch was opened on July 1st and we are closing the account on 31st December means the furniture was used in the branch only for the period of 6 months. So, we have to deduct only 6 months depreciation. 6 months depreciation in the sense 8,000 into 10%, only half, 6 months, 6 divided by 12, that is 800 rupees of depreciation into 6 by 12, that is 1 by half, 400 rupees of depreciation is to be deducted from the furniture account, and the balance of 7,600 will be taken to the outer column. Next is okay, so like this we have to adjust, and one other adjustments, 3 adjustments what we have to make is, one is for the closing for the opening branch stock we have to record the stock reserve. Since the opening stock was how much? Opening stock, is there opening stock? There is no opening stock, right? So there is no adjustment for the opening stock at all. Correct, there is no opening stock at all. Next, goods sent to branch account at invoice price. Goods sent to branch at invoice price is for how much? 1,20,000. This 1,20,000 of goods sent to branch account, for this we have to record, only we have to record the loading price of 1,20,000. 1,20,000 into 25 divided by 125, that we have to account. Next thing is, whatever the stock, closing stock, there is a closing stock, but there was no opening stock, because branch only was opened on 1st July, means there will be no opening stock, correct? So for this closing stock we have to make an adjustment. They say the opening the stock was 26,000, closing stock was 26,000. And whatever the goods received from the branch must be added back, because it is excluded, correct? So for this, after adding that 600 rupees to this closing stock, we have to record it as for the loading amount. For loading amount, for recording the loading amount on the debit side, what we have to do? We have to adjust this. But look at here, dear students, in the problem they said that one point you have to look at: stock at cost. Stock at cost is on 31st December 2022 is for cost value, not at the stock value. I will just show this entry to you, how to record. See, stock, for recording the closing stock, that is by branch stock we record it, correct? By branch stock account in the branch account. While recording this by branch stock account, what is the amount of stock? Amount of stock is 26,000, and this 26,000 is at cost value. But everything we need to mention or record at the invoice price, correct? But whatever the branch stock they have given, they have shown it in the cost. So what we need to do for this adjustment? For this, we need to add back the profit first. Add back the profit, or we can say it as loading of 25%. Loading at 25%. Loading at 25% is how much? 26,000 into 25 by 100. 26,000 into 25 by 100 means, it may be some amount. Where is my calculator? 26,000 into 25,000, 6,500 total, 32,500. This is actually the closing stock, but this is excluded with the goods received from the debtors. So add this goods or the stock received from debtors. Whatever the stock received from debtors, 32,500. Add 600 rupees. taken. And next adjustment is by branch furniture. By branch furniture. What is the amount of furniture? 8,000 rupees. But we have to deduct depreciation. What is the percentage of depreciation given? The percentage of depreciation is 10%. 10% on what? On 8,000 should be taken. 10% on 8,000 is 800. But this 800 rupees is for how many months? It is only for the 6 months because the branch was open only on 1st July. So for the remaining 6 months we cannot take it because the asset was used only for the 6 months. So 8,000 into 10 divided by 100 into 6 by 12. So the total is how much? The amount is 400. 8,000 minus 400 is 7,600. 7,600. But for this 33,100 of branch stock, it is recorded at the invoice price. We have to show this as a stock reserve, and this stock reserve of 33,100 for 25 rupees. This will be shown in the debit side as a loading. Got it? Everyone understood? You can do it from your end, correct? I sent already the problem in the Telegram group. Just scroll it back. Okay. So this is how we have to work out the problem for the branch account. You have to work out still more problems which is given in the study material. There are so many problems in the study material you can work out, and also you can refer some other textbooks. 6,500 is it? I don't think 600, 500, 6,000. 33,100 into 25 divided by 125. 6,620. It is not exactly 6,500. Oh, very sorry. I have not enlarged the screen. You want me to repeat it again? We could have moved to some other problem. Look at, okay. See, look at here. Is it visible clearly? Okay, look at here. I'm just showing only the adjustment. Other adjustments you can do it from your end, but only these adjustments I'm showing. First one is branch stock account. So for recording the closing branch stock account, what we have to do? We have to credit this. Correct? That is by branch stock account. What is the amount of by branch stock account? This is 26,000 rupees of by branch stock account we have to take. This branch stock account, whatever we are showing, is at the cost price. It is clearly given in the problem, that is at cost. At cost. So this amount of 26,000 is 100. But in the problem it is also mentioned that whatever you are recording, it should be recorded at the invoice price, not at the cost price. So in order to record this at the invoice price, what we have to do? We have to add the profit of 25%. The profit of 25% means add the loading of at the rate of 25%. What is the amount of branch closing stock? 26,000 multiplied by 25 divided by 100. So this is loading at 25%. If you add this 25% of loading, you will get 6,500. And if you add this 6,500, the total is 32,500. And also, the goods received from debtor must be added. It is excluded. This is actually the closing stock. But this closing stock is excluded in the goods received from debtors. So goods for this 33,100 must be taken into account for recording the closing loading, for deducting or reducing the excess amount of invoice price. So this stock reserve must be recorded here. The stock reserve is how much? So that we have to calculate. What is the branch closing stock? Branch closing stock is 33,100. This 33,100 is for 125% because it is in the invoice price. But how much is only the profit? Profit is 25%, correct? How much is only the profit? Profit is 25. So 33,100 into 25 divided by 125. What is the amount? I had calculated 6,620. 6,620 rupees is actually about the adjustment for branch stock and stock. Stock reserve. Got it? One more adjustment I had explained, that is about the prepaid insurance. So I had already been explained about the prepaid insurance, but showing here how to make this entry. So that is by prepaid insurance, because the insurance is being paid early or advance. For 6 months of insurance has been paid. So what is the amount of insurance paid? Insurance paid is 300. So how much period in advance they have paid? For 6 months. That means till June 30th, means from January to June, 6 months they have paid in advance. So this has become prepaid insurance. That is for the 6 months. So out of 12 months, 6 months advance they have been paid. So the amount of 150, we have to show this as closing asset, because it is an asset, it is a current asset, correct? And the next closing asset is branch furniture. There is an adjustment for this branch furniture also. This branch furniture, whatever is given, the amount 8,000 rupees is subject to depreciation. So what is the percentage of depreciation? Depreciation is how much? Depreciation is 8,000 rupees, and this depreciation is 10%. The amount of furniture is 8,000. So means 800 rupees of depreciation we have to charge, but not completely 8,000, because the asset is used only for a period of 6 months. So only 6 months depreciation on furniture is to be charged out of 6 months. So what is the depreciation amount? 400. This 400 rupees is to be deducted from the branch furniture by recording the closing asset. So how much is the balance amount of furniture? 7,600. Everyone got it? Now let us move. It's already 11:30. Let us move the next concept. So do some more problem. Work out some more problem on the branch account. Not only these three adjustments, it has been given for an assignment for you to do it branch account, but this is the extra entry I have set. And one more item actually, yes, look at here. We also have to record one more item, that is closing item of branch debtors. Closing branch debtors is not given, but there is a credit sales. When there is a credit sales, we have to record the closing debtors, correct? So how to record the closing debtors then? For this, we have to open a debtors account. How to open a debtors account? So this is a branch debtors account. Debit, credit. Always for every asset, opening balance is a debit balance. So to opening balance, drop down. There is no opening balance because this is a new branch. Okay, and there is, okay, I will just move to the problem. Okay, there is an adjustment for this. First, the set, first item for this is where is mouse? first item is cash sent to branch for meeting petty expenses. Second is furniture purchase. Third is goods sent to branch. It is not relating to debtors at all. Then expenses paid by head office. No. Next, come to the right hand side. Cash sales is not relating to debtors. Credit sales for 6 months they have given. This credit sale is to be credited by credit sales. By sales. How much is the by sales amount? It is 26,000. So there is a sale of 26,000 and cash received from debtors. So to cash received from debtors, cash received. What is the amount of cash received from debtors? 20,000 will be debited. Next, discount allowed to debtors will be credited by discount allowed. What is the amount of discount allowed? 200 rupees. Next, goods returned by debtors. See, we have made a sales of 26,000, but goods are returning by the debtors will be debited to goods returned. And this goods returned are the invoice price. Correct. Next, 600. Further, bad debts written off. Bad debts written off will be debited. Bad debts. Bad debts written off is how much? 50 rupees. Next, there is no other information relating to this. Close the account. 26,250 rupees. 26,250 rupees minus 20,600. How much? What's the balance? I'm very sorry to open the debtors account since there is when there is a sales, the entry is branch debtors account to for any opening. There is a branch debtors. For branch debtors, there is no opening balance, correct? But there is a sales. So when there is a two opening balance, but there is no opening balance. But when there is a sales, it will be added. So because debtors account will be debited and the sales account will be credited, correct? So branch debtors account debit to credit sales of 26,000, and whatever the amount of cash received, cash will be debited because cash is coming in, correct? The cash received by the branch. So cash account debit to debtors account by cash. Whatever the amount of cash received is credited. See, cash account debit to debtors means debtors. Who is the giver? Debtors are the giver. So credit the giver and debit what comes in. So like this we have to account it. Next, there is next item is goods returned. Correct? Goods returned. What is the amount of goods returned? 600 rupees. It is at the invoice price. When there is a sale, we debit it. When there is a return, we credit it. And also there is a discount allowed. What is the amount of discount allowed? 200, correct? 200 rupees of discount allowed. There is a bad debts written off. Bad debts written off. This bad debts written off for 50 rupees. Okay. So like this we have to record it. Sorry. Now take the total. Credit side is more 26,000. 26,000 minus 20,850. 26,000 minus 20,850. It is 5,150. This 5,150 is closing balance. This is opening balance. There is no opening balance. So this is a closing balance carried down. Balancing figure 5,150. Got it? And like this amount of 5,150 will be taken into the branch closing amount. Understood everyone? In a very short span of time. Now I'll quickly explain about the next unit so that we can work out the problems in the next class. Okay, departmental accounting. So many of you are working, you will be having an idea that there will be many departments, like how there will be many branches. Like same way in every branches or in every organization in the same premises, there will be a different departments. Correct? So the departments are established because of various reasons. The departments like any of the department can be like a purchase department, accounts department, finance department, and also the production department, the selling and distribution department, marketing department, so administration department. Like this there will be various departments. So and these departments are established, are bifurcated or divided based on the category, the nature of the activity. Based on the nature of activity, the main purpose of dividing the organization into the different branches, it may be because of ascertaining the profit of the particular branch, how the branch is performing, to know the performance of every branch, the department, how each department are functioning, how each department is performing. So in order to know this, the branch may be, the department may be established or divided, and also to compare one department with the other department performance, and it also helps for checking the performance of particular department with the previous years. So whatever the department's performance of this year can be compared with the performance of the previous year. Like this, to know all this, the departments are being divided. But here, to know the performance, every activities must be accounted. Correct? So every accounted in the sense, all the activities in terms of money, it must be quantified in terms of money. Correct? So for this, whatever the expenditure and the income of the department will be recorded. So under departmental accounting, here we are going to consider whatever the particular, because in the organization there are two departments, A and B. The expenditure of A and the expenditure of B, and the income of A and the income of B will be recorded separately, individually, and those expenditure and the income of each department the income will be deducted with the expenditure, and the balance whatever we get is the profit will be compared with the other department, how these two departments are performing. So like this, in order to know this performance, everything, the departmental accounting is prepared. There are actually two different, the main thing here is what we have to do is you will be given an income and expenditure, you have to divide that into a different departments. It is very easy that to apportion, allocate the expenditure in case if the expenditures are being given directly with respect to the particular department. But in case if the expenditures are not being given to the particular department correctly, that means individually, if they put together, suppose take an example of rent. Rent is paid. Will the rent be paid to the particular department individually in the same premises? No, right? So rent of 10,000 is been paid means it is for the whole building, not for the individual department. Then how to apportion that? How to divide that amount of rent to the two departments when there are two departments are running? That is a big headache. Correct? Salaries. Suppose the salaries and the wages are being given to the employees. How to apportion that between two departments? Printing and stationery. So all the printing and stationery expenditures are been have to be divided between two departments. How to divide? The furnitures, there are so many furnitures and the machineries or the assets or the car is been used by, is there in the organization as a fixed asset, and depreciation has to be charged and to be charged to the profit and loss account of the profit and loss account. How to divide this depreciation between two departments when furnitures are being used by both the departments? In terms of ratios. Very good. So we have to apportion that in terms of ratio. Which ratio we have to account? On what basis we have to record? Whether equally we have to divide between two departments, or in the ratio of 1:2, or in the ratio of 1:3, like that. How to divide? So that is a big question here. So there are two different types of expenditure we have. One is direct expenditure and the other one is indirect expenditure. Direct expenditure means the expenditure with respect to the particular department which can be allocated directly is a direct expenses. But the expenditures which cannot be divided directly between two departments, which are the general expenditure, are called expenditures are called as indirect expenditure, and that indirect expenditure have to be apportioned. Some of the indirect expenditures can be allocated and some of the indirect expenditures which cannot be allocated will be apportioned. Allocated means, see, as I said, salary of a staff. How to apportion the salary of the staff? Suppose in department A there are 3 employees working and in department B there are 2 employees working. So the salary of 3 employees can be allocated to department A and salary of 2 employees can be allocated to department B. Means based on the number of employees we can allocate. Correct. But some of the expenditure like depreciation, what I said, that cannot be allocated but it should be apportioned. Means it should be divided based on what? There are so many bases. Basis may not be given in the problem directly, but sometimes it will be given. If it is given in the problem, it is well and good, because we no need to break our head. But if it is not given in the problem, you must have an idea in advance to do it, because there are various types. There are different bases of different bases where we have to record. I'll just quickly move to the basis of promotion, which I will show you. 1 second. I'm just looking into the study material. Okay, I will show you that. Is it visible? Yes, okay. See, look at here. There are so many ratios where we have to allocate. If suppose if any expenditure with respect to the purchases, we have to allocate that on the basis of ratio of net purchases. What is meant by net purchases? Net purchases in the sense total purchases minus return. Whatever the total there is the purchases minus less returns, that will be the net purchases. If in case if there is any interdepartmental transfer, that should also to be deducted. Otherwise total purchases minus returns. So that is the net purchases. And some of the expenditures like carriage inwards, freight, duties, import, octroi, etc. Whatever the expenditure incurred for purchasing the goods, page number 26 is it? Yes, page number 26 in study material second block. Okay, so whatever that is the chapter departmental accounting 6th unit. The expenditure with respect to the purchases and which cannot be apportioned easily between. So see, for example, the goods are purchased and these stocks are purchased and allocated between two departments, but whatever the stocks are purchased and stocks received by the department can be allocated easily because of the based on the information, that is whatever the stocks actual amount of stocks received. But carriage inwards incurred for purchasing the goods, freight incurred, the duty or the import duty or the octroi incurred for purchasing the goods. How to allocate between these two departments? It is based on the net purchases. Okay. Next is ratio of net sales. And for what are all the things we consider net sales? For majority things we take this net sales. Net sales means as total sales minus sales returns will be the net sales. In case if there is an interdepartmental transfer, that can be deducted. Okay. If not, only the total sales minus sales returns. And this ratio of net sales, for considering this ratio of net sales, for what are all the expenditure this ratio of net sales will be considered, like for carriage outwards, discount allowed, or any salary to the salesman, advertisement, commission on sales, bad debts, reserve for bad debts. Look at here, any bad debts, reserve for bad debts, etc., which arises because of the sales. Correct. The debtors which if they have not paid the amount of debt, then it becomes the bad debt. So this also have to be apportioned on the basis of net sales. Next, reserve for discount on data, sales tax, etc. should be accounted, apportioned on the basis of ratio of net sales. Next is ratio of space. So if in case there is a rent, rates, repairs, etc., which have to be apportioned on the basis of ratio of space. Next, ratio of closing stock. So sometimes the closing stock like insurance on goods, go down, rent, etc., which have to be accounted based on the ratio of closing stock. Then ratio of value of assets. See, the value of assets sometimes in majority of the cases we take this depreciation, etc., the insurance, etc., based on the sales. But sometimes if they are specified, if the that it will be recorded based on if there is a furnitures or any assets which based on the department, which is divided based on the department. Suppose department A has so many assets and department B has so many assets, then in that situation the depreciation can be allocated based on the value of an asset. And if there is any repair and machinery of maintenance of particular machinery or the furnitures of the particular department, that can be recorded based on the depreciation based on the the value of the asset, and also insurance premium on the particular asset can of the particular department can be apportioned easily based on the value of asset. But if those assets are not divided between different departments, if those assets which are not divided between different departments, then we cannot apportion it on the basis of value of asset. Instead, what we take the net sales. Look at here, we take the net sales for this, that is for the depreciation, for the insurance, or for the wages of night watchman, etc. will be on the basis of sometimes it is on the basis of ratio of space, otherwise it will be recorded based on the net sales. Okay. Next, ratio of time spent. So if the wages or salaries were been given or for the managers or supervisor based on the time spent, then it will be recorded. Then ratio of power or meter reading or units consumed with respect to the lightings, heating, water, etc. It will be recorded based on the number of power or meter reading. If it is for the lightings and electricity charges, based on the number of lighting points or based on the area occupied, whatever the information is given, based on that it will be divided with what the lightings and the electricity charges. And the number of workers, based on the number of workers, if the number of workers are using canteen or the recreation expenditure or any individual department expenditure, that can be divided based on the number of staffs or the workers working in the particular department if there is an information. And any other expenditure like interest on capital, interest on debenture, interest on bank loan, accounting charges, and the general manager's salary, audit fees, director's fees, bank charges, entry office expenses. These are the expenses which have to be apportioned on the basis of on the department basis. If there is any information of individual department on various basis, can be on any apportioned basis, it can be on net sales, or it can be equally apportioned if the information is not given. But if sometimes if no information is given and if cannot be apportioned, then it can be directly charged to the general profit and loss account. Put together, other than the departmental profit and loss account, we also prepare general profit and loss account, and in that general profit and loss account, whatever the expenditures which cannot be apportioned, only the general expenditure which cannot be apportioned at all. In that situation, like dividend paid to the shareholders. So dividend paid to the shareholders, how you will be taken that? Interest on bank loan, how you will record it? So if it is able to record it, then we can divide it. But if in case sometimes if it is not able to record, then it will be allocated to the, it will be taken to the transfer to the general profit and loss account. Next, in case if there are incomes, suppose incomes like discount received, reserve for discount on creditors, etc., that will be apportioned on the basis of net purchases. Then commission earned by the concern, commission earned by any retailers, wholesaler, that will be recorded based on the net sales. And then discount received is from the creditors. If discount allowed, that will be recorded based on the net sales. That discount allowed will become an expenditure. Correct. Next, any other income such as dividend received, transfer fees, or interest on deposit, etc., which can be divided equally or can be transferred to general profit and loss account. Understood? This is how we can apportion it. Or sometimes in the problem itself they mention this the basis of apportionment. In that situation we can account how the amount of expenditure can be recorded. I'll just show you the format of profit, and you will be having an idea about how to prepare the profit and loss account, correct? How to prepare trading and profit and loss account? How to prepare trading and profit and loss account? I am not asking about the departmental trading and profit and loss account. I am just asking the general trading and profit and loss account. That is a financial statement, very important, the first item. trading and profit and loss account. Look at here, trading and profit and loss account will be prepared in the same account, correct? That is, this is trading. First portion will be the trading and second portion will be the profit and loss account. Trading and profit and loss account for the year ending, and it is debit, it is credit. Particulars amount in rupees. The first item here is 2 opening stock. I am just giving you the format, okay? 2 opening stock, then 2 purchases. If there is any return, less return, and the balance will be taken as a net purchases to the outer column. Then 2 any carriage inwards, any freight, any import duty or octroi, etc. has been paid. It is all the direct expenditure, and these direct expenditure will be taken into the trading account. These are the trading account expenditure, and in the right side we take by sales. If there is any sales return, that sales return will be, amount of sales return will be deducted and the balance will be taken to the outer column. Next, by closing stock. Then take the difference. If there is a profit, we take it as gross profit carried down. Gross profit carried down. If there is a profit, this is gross loss carried down. And this carried down amount of gross loss will be taken to the debit side of the profit and loss account. The next portion is the profit and loss account portion, correct? This is the balancing figure. Gross loss brought down, or if there is any profit, gross profit brought down. There will be any one item, not both. Gross profit brought down. If there is any indirect income like dividend received, or if there is any income like interest received, that will be recorded here in the debit side. I'm sorry, in the credit side. In the debit side, if there is any expenditure like salaries, wages, interest paid, depreciation, printing and stationery, etc., whatever the indirect expenditure is there, all the indirect expenditure which will be debited. Once again, wait for a minute. expenses will be debited. Whatever the balance, take the total of debit side and the credit side. Whatever the balance we get, if there is a net profit, and this net profit will be taken to the profit and loss profit and loss appropriation account, or if not preparing the profit and loss appropriation, we will take that amount to the directly to the balance sheet, correct? So this is how we prepare the amount, the profit and loss account, trading and profit and loss account. In the same manner, we also prepare departmental trading and profit and loss account, but having two different departments, department A, department B, and the total column. With the 3 amount column, we prepare departmental trading and profit and loss account. Okay, dear students, now another classes starting, your classes have been started. You can join for that class. In the next class I am going to solve one of the problem, if possible 1 or 2 problems relating to the departmental trading account. Okay, thank you very much. See you all.